So I just want to tell you some of the great example about how some of my clients and also some of my friends got true love. Okay, you never know when and how you meet. So one of the good example is she was a client of mine, and after she went through a separate path with her super wealthy older man, she was always dating super wealthy men, and but she never really cared how she really looked. She's a beautiful person. She looks like a model, stunning body, but she didn't have any taste when it comes to clothing. So she hired a guy who is into fashion, and he bought her all the clothes, but she did not know how to put everything all together. So I went to organize her closet. We got rid of all her ex-boyfriend stuff, and I coordinated every single clothes. And her wish was to date somebody younger and good looks. And so, she's a hot person. More she put the really nice clothes on, people started noticing that, holy cow. So she was dating, but she got exhausted putting the nice clothes on. And I was like, well, you said you want to meet the younger, good looking, you're going to nice restaurants. And she said, forget it. She likes to use a lot of the cursing words. And I'm like, if you want to meet younger men, maybe they think like if you be using all the F and S, they might think. She's like, what, who gives up? I want to meet somebody who gets me, who can understand. By the way, I'm sorry about the dog. And so at the end, she met the guy. When she went to the gym, she was wearing regular clothes, not she dressed up or anything, the regular clothes. And she was in the yoga class, and there was a personal trainer was taking he was teaching this course as a substitute teacher. She was the only one student. He was a teacher. That's how they met. She had no makeup on, she didn't dress up or anything. They both liked to paddleboard. Boom. And she was like, I got my man. So once you know what you want, when you're ready, things will happen. Second example, okay? This was also my client. And I started organizing her donut shop. When I met her, beautiful girl, but she was always stressed out. And before we do organizing, I was always giving her healing. And she was always complaining, not only about her job, her boyfriend. And she said because her boyfriend did this and her boyfriend did that. And she has been living in a big house with her mom. And how many roommates she has? She has like 5 or 6 different roommates because the house is gigantically really big. So, and her boyfriend was living in her place. And after we finished organizing the donut shop, we started organizing her closet. And I noticed her energy started shifting. I'm like, what's going on? Your energy is like bright. Everything is like, yay. And she said she broke up with her boyfriend and she sold her donut shop. I was like, whoa. And she said she's in a new relationship. I'm like, oh, got it so fast. And I'm like, how did you meet your new man? She said, he was right here the whole time. Her best male friend. BMF. She never realized until she let go of the stuff didn't serve her anymore. She never knew how she truly felt for her best male friend. Her male best friend also lives in the same house. So he was a roommate. He was always there for her, but she never really noticed until she started letting things go. You have no idea how happy they are together. They are on a new journey, and he was always telling her mom how much he wants to be with her. And her sister also knew. She was the only one did not know. He never confessed his feeling toward her, but she was the one confessed her feeling to him over the text message. They live in the same house. What a great story, right? And another story is this is a dear friend of mine. She wanted to meet a man. She gets men just like this. Every single man always be with her because she's attractive, she's smart, she's fun to be with, she's caring, loving, she's like a whole package, okay? But she was too busy with everybody, to me, to her friends, and one day she decided she's going to declutter all her friends. She even let me go out of her life for years. She let go every single person because she wanted to focus on her life. She was close to 40 years old, so she wanted to have a baby. She wanted to get married. She wanted to have a dog. She wanted to have a house. She focused on herself. She stopped focusing on other people, friends. Let go of every single stuff to make it all the time just for her. And guess what? She got them all. Of course, my friend and I, we are friends again, you know. One day when she got the baby, she texted me with all the pictures. And I kept texting her, meanwhile we didn't talk. She said, "You never give up." I'm like, because I knew we're gonna get back together. But I respected her time. I kept sending her messages, "How's everything with you?" But I did not expect her to respond to me. And I knew she was going to send me a message when she gets what she wants. And she did. And another example is, this was the teacher and the principal of the school I was working at. I used to work at the Montessori school as an assistant teacher. I don't have the Montessori degree or anything, but this principal of the school, she really loved me. We got to know each other, so she offered me a job as an assistant teacher. And working in that school really taught me how to deal with children, how to just observe. When I started working for her school, I was sitting in a classroom. I had to be quiet. Even the children come up and say something, all I had to do was writing notes. Initially, I was writing, "I feel he looks tired. I feel blah, blah, blah," talking all about my feelings. And she said, "Cut all your feelings. Who cares? All you gotta see is what they're doing, observing what children are doing. If they want your help, if they say, 'Miss Mai, will you come and help me?' That's the only time you help. Because the children drop something, you don't go and grab and help. No. They are independent. They can do anything what they want. Let them." That was a good lesson for me. So that became part of my teaching when I deal with a lot of children. When I deal with a lot of the mamas, I tell a lot of mamas, let children, they can do it. We don't need to do everything for children. So anyway, back to the story of this principal. She was married over 35 years. Okay, wonderful marriage. That's what she thought. She had 2 children, and she used to live in Italy. And when she was in Italy, she brought two of her children, but her husband was in Mexico. And he was able to let her whatever she wanted. So she always felt like she has the best marriage. She had a school outside of Los Angeles, but his home was in Mexico. He was coming to visit her every weekend, 7 years, once she opened up the school. Sorry, he was the one making all those sound. And 35 years later, he told her that he's not in love with her anymore. He's in love with somebody else. It completely crushed her, really did, because she never thought it was coming. Never, ever, ever did. And now guess what? She had a very hard time for first 6 months, okay? When we were working together, she was just crying. She couldn't really focus on the children. But children was giving her so much love. And she's not really allowed to hug children during the course, but every single kid, we had like 14 children, everybody was always giving her big hugs. Everybody was always saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I told her, write down the list, okay? Write down the list. Look at yourself in the mirror, love yourself just the way you are, but write it down the list, what kind of man you want to be with. And she said her husband was everything what she got. I said, maybe there is a different path you're supposed to take. That's why it's happening. So let's learn this lesson together. I'm there with you. So she wrote the list. And guess what? Took her a long time to meet the man. But 6 months after, she started able to date somebody else. And 2 years after she wrote the list, she met the man. Guess where she met? She met him at the airport. She was on a, sort of like a business trip with a wealthy man. She was going back to Italy with a super wealthy man. But they were just friends, and this wealthy man and her, they had a big fight. So she was sitting at the coffee shop by herself, and she got some bites from mosquitoes. So she was scratching her skin. She was licking her fingers and scratching. She was doing stuff like this. And then here comes a super tall man, and he goes, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, what? That's how they met. But at that time, she was in a relationship with somebody else. And also, he was in a relationship with somebody else. She lives in America. He is in Norway. And they keep in touch by email here and there. But 2 years after, she broke up with a boyfriend. He broke up with his 10-year girlfriend. And they started contacting each other. And he started coming to visit her. Every month from Norway to America. Now he proposed to her, and they've been living together in Norway. And the funny story about this is, she said, I forgot to write one thing on my list, where he is from. But my man covered every single list what I wrote. Isn't that a great story? So you never know how you meet. Okay? So if you're looking for love, don't give up. Just keep working on yourself. Love yourself. This principle of the Montessori teacher did. She did exactly the exercise I told her to do. Talk to herself through the mirror and love yourself. You gotta love yourself just the way you are, okay? No matter how miserable you feel, how depressed you are, Okay? You gotta control your feelings. You gotta love any negative feelings. Okay? We cannot stay positive every single minute. You just have to accept just the way you are. Okay? And also another important thing is value yourself. Okay? This is also a client of mine. She went through a divorce. Okay? Her husband cheated on her. And beautiful, sexy person, super beautiful. But whoever she dated after the marriage, she did not want to sleep with anybody because she took the course about relationship, and this relationship coach said, do not give up the bottom part, don't. So she valued herself. I will give myself to the man who's going to commit with me, who's going to be exclusive with me, and I have to get the ring before I get into the real relationship, before I give myself. Sounds stupid, but I gotta get the promised ring from the man. Guess what? She did. You know what we did during decluttering? We decluttered, let go of her belief. Okay? She's sexy. Okay? So everybody wants to be with her. Everybody wants to get into her pants. But she had a belief that, no, I want to believe that there's a man who values me. And she let go of all the old lingerie. I told her to buy brand new ones for your new man. Do not use old ones. So she got beautiful lingerie. I cannot wait to go to their wedding. Don't give up, okay? There is a plan for God. No matter what you're going through right now, as long as you believe that you want to be in a good relationship, you deserve to get the true love. If you're truly able to believe yourself, it will happen, okay? There are certain things you have to let go, okay? You have to make a space come in. When you're occupied with yourself, you're too busy with yourself. There's no space. When my husband came back to my life, I decluttered half of my closet space. I let go all the bad memories with him. So he was able to come back to my life. I never thought he was going to come back, but I believe he will come back. And I started acting like he was already with me. All I did was let go of the stuff he gave me, the past. Let go. But I never let go of the feeling that I will be with him. Nobody was able to believe it. I was like, oh no, I don't think I can believe it because it's not happening. It took him 2 years him to come back to my life. 2 years we didn't speak a word. But he came back to me when I was not expected at all. He came back to me when I was the happiest moment. When I was focused on him to come back to my life. When I was holding on to him, please come back to me, please come back to me. I kept going to all the stupid psychics and stuff. Those are the times. No, because my vibration was in a completely different place. When I let go of everything, I didn't speak a word about him. I let go of everything. All I did was like me being happy. Because I knew once I'm happy, he has to be happy to come back to my life. If I'm miserable and he comes back to my life and him being miserable, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be like, yes, life is so beautiful. And I wanted him to be in the same feelings, same vibration, okay? When I'm the happiest, he came back to my life. So I hope you get my message. Okay? Work on yourself. If you want to be in a miserable relationship, stay where you are. But don't waste of your time. Life is once. I always tell you, life is once. Live for you. When the time is right, it will come to you. You just have to do the work for you. I got to tell you one more wonderful success story about love. This is also a dear friend of mine. She was over 60 years old and her husband was 80 years old. They were always saying I love you before they go to sleep. And they were also sharing what they felt happy today, what they want to talk about, appreciation. That was their conversation right before they were going to sleep every night. They met each other. They have 20 years age difference, right? They met each other through the parking guy where they are working at, the building. Because they have 4 different same activity they love. One was Harley Davidson's motorcycle, and the second one was skiing, and the third one was they both have the helicopter license and the dog. So they have 4 activities they love to do together. And every time I saw them, they're always holding hands. They're always taking like 4 dogs together. And one day when I saw wife walking up the hill, I never saw her crying. She was in tears. And I asked her, what happened? She said her husband fell and he's in the hospital. Doctors asking if she wants to keep him alive or let him go. She had to make a decision within 24 hours. That was the time I saw her on the hill. She was in tears. You know, they had a beautiful life together. It was hard to let her go, let him go. But she said, you know, son of a bitch, he has a wonderful life. I gotta let him go. What's the best way to die? He had a heart attack. What's the best way? He never suffered. Gotta let him go. So she did. After that, I went to visit her once in a while. And she was like, she had the best marriage. So she was like, am I ever gonna meet somebody like a wonderful husband she had? I said, you know what? You know what the best, you know what great relationship is. So you will meet an amazing guy. Because you gave me so much great advice about love. And you will, because you know. And 2 men started coming into her life. Those 2 men, one was young, the other man was their best man when they got married. When she got married with the late husband. Those 2 men, they also like to go on a motorcycle ride. So they started going on American, the motorcycle tour. And it was, I think, 1 year after her husband passed away, this best man confessed his feeling toward her. He said he has feeling for her. He was married at that time. He was already married 4 times. She knew all the wives. But when they're walking, they held hand each other. She felt right. But she told him, if you want to be with me, you gotta divorce. I don't want to be the person to steal. The reason he started having feeling for her is that he also had those 4 common interests like her and her late husband. dogs, motorcycle, skiing. He has a helicopter driving license. So every time he got married, he wanted his wife to do the activities he loves. But none of the wives were able to catch up with him. So he kept going one after another, one after another. But during this morning time, when he was taking care of her mentality, enjoying time together, he realized that, oh my God, she has everything what I love to do. Guess what? He divorced, and now they're happily ever after. They're together. You never know what your life is, what your life is waiting for. If you're single, don't worry. Right person will come at the right time. If you're divorced, and if you're like, figure it out how you want to be better for others. Stop talking bad about your past relationship. Work on yourself, work on your future. What kind of relationship you want to have, what you have to do to receive that. You have to be a receiver. Let go of the past. Okay? You got to be a receiver to receive the love you want. And if you are in a bad relationship, what part you have to change? Start appreciating whatever is working on. More you go into bitch about things are not working. If it's necessary, move on. You know, if you have the same closet space, if you're not separating your stuff, start separating yours and his. Figure it out what you want. What makes you happy? You don't need to struggle for others. You gotta know what you want, who you are. Okay? Maybe there's a better person waiting for you. Who knows? But started appreciating, started being happy what you have if you are in a relationship. Because you're not happy, you're moving on to the next one. You're going to get the same kind of bad ones. Work on it. What you have to change.